Right, guys, I've been asked to say a few words about my old pal, Kenny Davidson, who has been, as Burns would say, been laid to the moles, sad sick to see, for nearly 14 years now. But he created such an impression of us, or such an impression to us, that we still speak about him yet. We still bring him up on the Burns covers. He was a great Burns man. I don't think, I'm sure Gordon won't mind me saying this, but the best of the haggis was probably the best you've ever seen. He was superb at it. Kenny, when I joined the lodge, Kenny was one of the old guys. Now we're looking as one of the young guys, but back then he was just one of the old guys. And he didn't have any kids of his own, but he made a habit of sort of looking after us. So when we were on our fundraising trips on the Ice and Raft race, or out doing our walks, he was there with his camper van with the soup on and making sure we were fed and kept comfortable, hot drinks, and he really looked after us. But it wasn't until we went on an adventure together that I became really close with Kenny. And Kenny was 30 years older than me, but we kind of became brothers towards the end, which is something this little room has a tendency to do. And it was, and forgive me for this next sentence, but we were on a yacht race between Banff and Stavanger when Kenny decided he'd like to be part of it. And so we went out for a little sail together, and Kenny got on great. Of course, he was ex-merchant navy, so he didn't get seasick. So Kenny came with us on that trip, and we bonded pretty well over that, and we were thick as thieves after that wee trip. But some of the stories from that trip were legendary, and I'll share a couple of them with you. I'm sure I've shared them before, but they're worth repeating. It takes about sort of 3 days to sail from Banff to Stavanger across the North Sea. And Kenny by day 2 was smelling a bit ripe. And so he says, I says, you getting on okay, Kenny? He says, yeah, I'm really enjoying it. He says, but I could really use a shower. So I says, well, we're all using these wipes. You should try using some wipes, give yourself a wash down. So Kenny said, that's a good idea. I'll give myself a hose down with these wipes. So what we hadn't told him was that we were using baby wipes, the sensitive ones. And he grabbed a pair of flash wipes out of the kitchen. And rubbed himself down with these flash wipes. So he didn't cotton on, we were just glad that he wasn't smelling so bad. So we get back to Peterhead, and my wife, we get back to Peterhead, and my wife's picking us up, and she says, oh, it doesn't smell as bad in here as I thought it was going to. And Kenny jumps, no, we've been washing ourselves down with these wipes. He says, but don't have to make your skin itch.
You did have a fine lemony smell about it.
He smelled great for the rest of the trip. And that was Kenny. Another wee story from that trip. We were on watches, so 3 on, 3 off. And it was the middle of the night, and I was on watch with Kenny and another chap, and the other chap was on the wheel, and we were just sat in the cockpit. And it was quite rough, so it was only a small boat, so there was a lot of water coming over the deck. And you're sat there in your waterproofs, really in a fit of misery in the middle of the night. And we hadn't said much, sort of dozing and just trying to endure it for the next 3 hours till you were off watch. And Kenny all of a sudden says to me, he says, do you know something, Mark? There's a little bit of the North Sea running down between the cheeks of my arse. That was Kenny. Anyway, guys, that was Kenny Davidson. So be upstanding and raise your glasses. The absent friends.